Right, we're back. Welcome to another episode of IELTS English Speaking. IELTS Speaking Practice Session. Today we're going to resume talking about rules where we left off. To my memory, last time we talked about a traffic rule. So first off, I'm going to brush up the story a little bit. See how much I can remember from the last time. Okay. Alright. Let me start a timer so we can know how long I speak. The goal is to speak for 2 minutes with over 300 words. Right, start. Alright, I'm gonna tell you about a traffic rule that I learned in Canada. It is about when you take a turn, you have to use the right of way to the oncoming traffic. At first, I learned about this rule when I was studying for my driver's license, and yeah, it took me 2 tries to actually get this license. And I also passed the driving test requiring this knowledge. But for some reason, I still, actually made a mistake when I failed to use the right of way to the bus that was coming on direction that was turning in. It was during a snowstorm, and I decided to go out to fill up my gas tank. But when I was about to exit the gas station, it was snowing very heavily, so I couldn't see, the visibility was very limited, and I couldn't see far ahead. So I just went for it and made a right turn, and unfortunately, within like a second, a bus just came out of nowhere and struck my car from the side, and it completely damaged my car's front left fender. And yeah, I have to fix it for like $200, which is not too bad, but it was definitely a lesson learned because it could have been worse. Like I could be in the hospital or or even worse. So yeah, from that day on, I've never made the same mistake again, and always make sure that before I turn, I check both ways, making sure that the traffic's clear before I merge in the lane I want to turn in. Oh, that's almost 300 words. It's a bit more. And we'll be good. Let's give it another go, and we're gonna move on to the next one. Alright, let me tell you about a traffic rule in Canada where when you make the right turn on a left turn, you have to use the right of way to the oncoming traffic. And so yeah, I mean, it's not always like that. I mean, in some cases, especially if they're a U sign, then the traffic that's going straight, you may have to yield to the vehicle that is about to make a turn. Right? But in most scenarios, the one that is about to turn have to use the right of way. Yeah, and I first learned about this rule when I was studying for my driver's license exam in Canada. It actually took me 2 tries, but I passed it. And but for some reason, even though I passed the exam, I still made a mistake when I participated in traffic. It was during winter, 2 years ago, and it was snowing very heavily. Could say that it was a snowstorm. But I still decided to go out to fill up my gas, and when I exit this gas station, um, I wanted to make a right turn, but since the visibility was very limited, I couldn't see very clearly. So yeah, just make the turn without checking. Unfortunately for me, the bus just came out of nowhere and um, hit my car from the side, completely damaging my car's front left fender. So it cost me like $200 to fix it. But it was definitely a lesson learned for me. Uh, yeah, from that day on, I haven't made the same mistake again. Right. Describe a rule you had, had to obey when you were in school. You should say what the rule was, what the rule was. If you agree with the rule, why the rule existed, what would happen if students broke the rule. Okay. I think I spoke about this last time, but I don't remember what I talked about. I just remember that I did this topic already. I don't know. I always we talked about. Not a rule. All right. All right. I'm gonna tell you about rule in Vietnamese schools. Um, uh, so this always applied when you are late for school. In most schools in Vietnam, they usually close the entrance door at around 7 a.m. in the morning. So if you want to, if you go to school after this time, you have to wait at the front, and then usually I was late several times. I had to stood in front of the entrance for about 5 to 10 minutes with other late students, and then the guard will open the gate, and we had to line up and walk in front of the what is it called? Like in front of the school's prefect office, so that they will either scold us and or they will write our names inside the list. And each time we violated this rule, uh, we get like I don't know 1.5 point mark deducted from the good behavior grade. And if the grade is below 8, for example, out of 10, then at the end of the year you might not get the good student good student award. So yeah, I mean, as we get older, um, the rule gets more relaxed, and I mean, I've been several, like 3 or 4 times in a year, but I still got the good student award at the end of the school year. So yeah, but when you were younger, I guess they want to discipline you, so they try to apply this rule more. And there was one year I didn't get the this award, but it wasn't due to this due to violating this rule with the thumbnails. Okay, let me tell you about a rule existing in many Vietnamese schools. So for most public schools in Vietnam, they usually start at 8 a.m. But no, 7 a.m. And if you go to school after this time, you have to wait at the entrance for about like 5 or 10 minutes because the close gate the gate is closed, and after that time, the guard will open the gate, and you, along with other lay students, will have to line up in front of the prefect office, and then they either let you in class and let it pass, or they will take your names and write it down in the list, and then after that they will deduct the good behavior point um, in your profile and in your record. So yeah, each time you get deducted like half a point or a point, and if you are below 8 out of 10, for example, then you might not get the good student award at the end of the year. But I think this rule is not necessarily strictly applied because I was like more than 2 times and still got the award. You know, I think like to get it like gets more relaxed as you uh, um, go into higher levels, higher grades. So in lower grades, like in primary school, they're more strict about this because I think they want students to be disciplined. But as they get older, I guess they let us to decide how we want to be disciplined. Disciplined. Added to the list. Added to the list of late arrivals. This can affect your behavior score. So, for example, you may lose half a point from your conduct grade, and if your conduct score falls below 8 out of 10, then you may not be eligible for certain awards at the end of the school year. However, I think this rule is always applied. I don't think this rule is always applied very strictly. When I was late more than twice and still received an award, I think the rule is enforced more strictly in lower grades, especially in primary school, because schools want young students to learn discipline. As students get older, teachers tend to give them more responsibility and allow them to make their own decisions, make their own decisions about being disciplined. That's good. That's good. But let's do it again. Do I agree with this rule? Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I didn't. I wasn't a very late student, so I had no problems with it. But yeah, it was sometimes intimidating because I thought I was not gonna get the award because I was late several times, and I shouldn't have gotten the award given, um, considering that um, my late attendance was deducted every time I was late. But at the end, they were a little bit relaxed in terms of this rule. So yeah, but you should not abuse it, because when you do that, then they're gonna deduct your points for real. Um, there's no leeway anymore. There's not gonna be any leeway anymore. Leeway. Okay. So yeah, once in a while you can do that, but you should not do it very often. Anyway, that's good. Let's do it again. Let's put some pressure on, okay? So that's how you progress. Alright. Let me tell you about a rule that exists in many Vietnamese schools, especially public ones. So for public schools in Vietnam, they usually close the entrance gate at around 8 a.m. Sorry, 7 a.m. And after that, and you have to wait at the gate for like 5 or 10 minutes with other late students. And I was late several times, so yeah, it was not a very fun experience. But depends on the school. They made it a point after the behavior score, after they let you in. Sometimes they let you off, but for some other times, yeah, your point will be deducted. And for my school, if you get less than 8 out of 10 for behavior score, then you might not get the good student award at the end of the year. But however, I was like many times, and I should have gotten less than 8, but for some reason I still got the award. So I guess my school was pretty relaxed. But I remember that in primary school they were more strict about this. I think it's because they want the student to be disciplined. But when you're older, you've developed this sense of responsibility. So I guess they want you to take charge of your life, of your action. So they tend to penalize less. Yeah, that's my opinion. Do I agree with this rule? I mean, yeah, I do, because at the end of the year, I still got the award. So, I wasn't very late a lot, so I didn't have any bad experience with it. But yeah, as long as the students don't abuse this rule, then I think the schools are gonna let them off sometimes. But if they do, then if they did, then they would apply the deduction every time the student is late. And yeah, There's no more leeway around it. There's no more leeway around it. There's no more leeway around it. Alright. There's no more leeway. There's no room for exceptions anymore. The rule is enforced strictly now. There's no way around it anymore. Don't give students any leeway anymore. So those were some examples that you can use for this way of saying. There were some of the examples that you can use for the thing that I just said. Some of the examples were okay. It's not that good, but it's okay. Alright, I guess this is it for today, Friday. I'm gonna go over all of the questions related to the topic rule, including this topic that I just talked about today and the one that I just reviewed at the beginning, as well as 4, 5, or 6 questions in task 3. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening. See you the next time. Ciao.